live with dignity. Madam Speaker, through you, I say to St. Thomas and to Jamaica, we are shining even brighter than we were 4 years ago. Do not let your light go out. Third term, we say. Madam Speaker, allow me to acknowledge with fierce pride and joy the member from Clarendon Southeastern and my little brother, Pernell Charles Jr.
Dr. Michelle Charles to make her contribution.
Madam Speaker, I must first of all say thank you to Almighty God, for it is He who is the architect of my life, and it is He who deserves the highest praise. Madam Speaker, I am delighted to rise for the 4th time in this honorable House as Member of Parliament for St. Thomas Eastern. When I became Member of Parliament in September 2020, St. Thomas was considered to be the forgotten parish. It wasn't even on the map in some people's minds. So in my maiden presentation, I informed the nation that St. Thomas Eastern had the audacity to shine. In my second presentation, Madam Speaker, I informed the nation that despite being faced with unprecedented challenges, there was a flicker of light in St. Thomas Eastern, and we were confident that we would shine. Last year, Madam Speaker, the transformation in our constituency was significant, and we felt ourselves elevating in the light. So the title of that presentation was Elevating in the Light. This year, Madam Speaker, I stand here to report to the nation that the state of St. Thomas Eastern is even stronger than the last. And I say to the residents who are experiencing this industrial revolution after almost 28 unbroken years of stagnation and darkness, and who can literally see that we are better off today than we were 4 years ago, I say to my St. Thomas Eastern family through you, Madam Speaker, the whole world is looking and they can see our light shining. So don't let your light go out. Hold on to your victory. Madam Speaker, I take this opportunity to thank my Councillor Michael McLeod and Councillor caretakers Winston Downey, Michael Hugh, and Nordine McKenzie. Thank you also to my secretaries, Ms. Cooper and Ms. Small, and my entire Diamond team. I could not carry out my duties without you all, and I must extend my sincere appreciation. Madam Speaker, let me also acknowledge my daughter Drew and my son Chad, along with my parents Pernell and Gloria, and my extended family and friends for their unwavering love and support. Madam Speaker, allow me to acknowledge with fierce pride and joy the member from Clarendon Southeastern and my little brother Pernell Charles Jr. Madam Speaker, I am immensely proud and eternally grateful to have been able to serve our country with him right by my side. Our parents taught us to serve our country from the second we were born, either through medicine or politics, and it has been an unforgettable ride. To you, Madam Speaker, and to our Deputy Speaker, may you both continue to lead us with fairness and impartiality. To our new Clerk of the House and the entire team here in this honorable House, thank you for your dedication and hard work. Madam Speaker, allow me to acknowledge with deep appreciation our Honorable Prime Minister, my parliamentarian colleagues, and the Jamaica Labour Party team who continue to support me as we all work together to build a Jamaica we can all be proud of. Yes. Madam Speaker, we had 2 elections in my constituency this year in the Morant Bay division. In February this year, the opposition candidate won the division by 412 votes. On November the 22nd, Madam Speaker, our newly minted Jamaica Labour Party Councillor caretaker candidate, Mr. Winston Downey, managed to close that gap, reducing our loss to 124 votes in a traditionally PNP division. Madam Speaker, I would like to especially thank Ms. Rihanna Wright and her team, who worked tirelessly. I would also like to thank Deputy Leader James Robertson and all of Area Council 2 and everyone who took the time out to help with the by-election, including you, Minister Chuck, and everybody. Madam Speaker, they over there had this division for close to 30 years with no development. But our government has brought infrastructure, rehabilitating several roads, and everywhere you go, you can log on to free Wi-Fi. Thank you to Universal Service Fund. Madam Speaker, the Rudolph Elder Park will be completely rehabilitated, and we already have a brand new highway which comes with new water pipes and fiber optics. Our government is building the largest urban center in the Caribbean, slated to open in just a few months and bring in over 4,000 jobs. It is this Andrew Holness-led government that is building Morant Bay, Madam Speaker. St. Thomas has been known as a forgotten parish for years, and they just break ground and toss dirt and shut down things like the Goodyear factory. We bring in cement and block and Kentucky Fried Chicken. So when you look at that space, you say to yourself, built by labor. And Madam Speaker, there's much more to come in Morant Bay. Let me thank TBDCO and the Minister of Tourism for assisting us with building a brand new bathroom and changing area at the Morant Bay Fishing Village, well needed. Madam Speaker, in my second presentation to this House in 2022, we had the audacity to ask the government to consider transforming the old courthouse in Morant Bay into a national museum, which would keep the history of St. Thomas alive. I'm happy to report that the procurement process to engage the services of a consulting firm to design the museum is underway. The tender process closed on November the 11th. A technical committee was formed to evaluate the bids, is expected to complete the evaluation process by December 12, 2024. It is expected that the design component will be completed by the end of the first quarter in the next financial year. Madam Speaker, the residents of St. Thomas Eastern know that the light is shining. They know that we are a government that they can depend on. And I say to the residents through you, Madam Speaker, don't hide your light under a bushel. Hold it up and show the world that the light is shining. Don't let your light go out. Hold on to your victory. Madam Speaker, during the period of 2023 to 2024, a total of 51 farmers benefited from water tanks, fertilizer, broiler chicks, and an additional 44 farmers have so far benefited from 2,200 baby chicks and 220 bags of broiler feed as well. We would like to thank the Minister of Agriculture and the member from Southwest St. Elizabeth for all that you have done to help our fishermen and farmers during the Hurricane Beryl Recovery Program and the Fisheries Productive Incentive Program. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries. Madam Speaker, water is indeed the foundation of life. It's essential for human survival, and its importance cannot be overstated. So allow me to spend a few minutes on water. The demand for water in the towns of Morant Bay and East Prospect is steadily increasing due to population growth and planned development within our parish. In response, the National Water Commission is committed to ensuring a reliable water source to supply the capital town of Morant Bay and the growing towns of East Prospect as well. To address this demand, the NWC has identified key infrastructure improvements, including the rehabilitation of the relift station and the upgrading of the distribution network. This will involve the installation of 200 millimeter and 250 millimeter pipelines from the Springfield facility to the Stanton tank. The rehabilitation of the relift station will include the repair of the storage tank and the supply and installation of the new relift pumps from Morant Bay, as well as the addition of a generator and motor control center. Madam Speaker, the Stanton Housing Scheme is supplied by the Spring Garden facility, which produces approximately 95,000 empirical gallons of water per day. However, the Stanton Housing Scheme has faced chronic water shortages over the past 20 years. In response, several initiatives have been implemented to alleviate the water supply issues affecting 185 households who have been without water for extended periods. These initiatives include the allocation of over $7.5 million to address pipeline defects, clear blockages, reconfigure the network, and replace sections of pipelines to restore services to customers who have been without water for decades. Madam Speaker, the NWC's Apple Farm system is a surface water system that produces approximately 2 mgd of portable water through the use of 2 vertical turbine pumps units. This system serves several parts of our constituency. Madam Speaker, the communities served by the Apple Farm have long faced challenges with service delivery, particularly in elevated areas like Top House. Additionally, residents in Stokes Hall and surrounding areas are now experiencing disruptions due to ongoing road work, which frequently damage small 2-inch distribution lines, worsening the area already that has poor services. To address these long-standing issues, our assessments have revealed that demand on the Apple Farm system must be reduced. This will be achieved by repairing leaks, especially on the larger trunk mains, and by regularizing individuals who are illegally accessing water. Madam Speaker, allow me to say thank you to the member from Northeast St. Anne for the National Drought Mitigation Program, which is a black tan distribution program, and to Dr. Francis and the hardworking team at the National Water Commission, whose numbers I have on speed dial. Access to clean water drives economic growth, improves health, and increases productivity. I can declare to you, Madam Speaker, that when it comes to water infrastructure, we are better off today than we were 4 years ago. I say to my St. Thomas Eastern family, your light is shining brighter than it was 4 years ago. So don't let your light go out. Hold on to your victory. Madam Speaker, our constituency continues to spend a minimum of $6 million out of our CDF towards education. Over 1,500 students benefited from back-to-school and tuition assistance this year, including book vouchers, school bags, and uniforms. Allow me to thank the Ministry of Education for the repair of several schools, especially after the hurricane, and for the additional $3 million, which was allocated to assist 38 young university students with their tuition. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Health, headed by the member from West Central St. Catherine, continues to develop and implement health policies, strategies, and plans to improve the health and well-being of the people of St. Thomas Eastern and Jamaica on a whole. I must thank him. Madam Speaker, community health centers help bridge the healthcare gap in rural areas. They often engage in community outreach programs addressing specific health needs and concerns. They provide emergency care, stabilizing patients until they can be transferred to a larger hospital if needed. Madam Speaker, this year, the Port Morant Health Center and the Arcadia Health Center were completely refurbished and reopened. The investment cost just under $35 million. Madam Speaker, I have traveled the world and visited several health care facilities, and I stand before you to say that the upgrades to our facilities are top-notch and first world. As a medical professional, I am extremely proud of the transformation of our healthcare facilities over the last 4 years. When it comes to health care, we are way better off than we were 4 years ago. And I say to my St. Thomas family, I see your light shining with your brand new air-conditioned clinic and your pharmacy at the Port Morant Health Center. So you don't have to go down to Morant Bay to fill your prescription. So remember, don't let your light go out. Hold on to your victory. Madam Speaker, the St. Thomas Eastern constituency encompasses 4 police jurisdictions: Morant Bay, Port Morant, Golden Grove, and Bath. A total of 46 major crimes have been recorded across the 4 divisions, and up to this year, 46, versus last year, 74, a decrease of 28, that's 38%. Madam Speaker, 20 break-ins this year to 26 from last year, another decrease, Madam Speaker. Murder has also gone down in our constituency. So, Madam Speaker, as far as we're concerned, St. Thomas Eastern is developing. We see crime and violence trending downwards. Let me acknowledge and appreciate the hard work and the sacrifices made by the police department. Your commitment to keeping our community safe is invaluable. Yes. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Labor and Social Security continues to play a vital role in St. Thomas Eastern, providing comprehensive support to vulnerable groups within our society, including the elderly, persons with disability, and low-income families. Madam Speaker, one must recognize the significance of the increase in the national minimum wage, the second increase in over a year. Madam Speaker, I had 3 recruitment drives in our constituency where over 400 young people came for security jobs. So I'm happy that there's also an increase in the minimum wage for security guards as well. That's well overdue. Thank you. Madam Speaker, we increased the budget for social pension benefits by a whopping 165%, following an increase in NIS pension for up to 76% last year. Madam Speaker, this government is a positive change that Jamaica needed all along. Everything in this ministry has increased because we can balance the budget and offer economic stability. PATH beneficiaries are also enjoying an increase in benefits as a result of a budget increase of 28.8%. And we must pause to thank this administration for putting the people first. Madam Speaker, the Overseas Employment Program is one that all members of Parliament know is extremely important to our constituents, and we must thank you as well. Madam Speaker, the Rebuild Jamaica initiative aimed at restoring our household and communities that have been severely impacted by Hurricane Beryl has been instrumental in ensuring that most vulnerable among us receive the support necessary to recover from the devastation. Hundreds of persons in my constituency have benefited from this initiative, and I must say thank you to the Minister. Madam Speaker, I cannot just say that we are shining in the east, because with all that I just said, we are shining in the north, the south, the east, and the west. I say to Jamaica, hold on to your light. Stick with this government, the one that you can trust. I know that we might not be the best, but we are better than the rest. Madam Speaker, the roadway between Dumfries and Prospect in St. Thomas Eastern is currently reduced to a single-lane access. The work currently underway includes removal of asphaltic concrete surface.
Member's time for speaking has expired. House Leader.
Madam Speaker, I ask for the member be given 10 minutes to complete her presentation.
Question is that the member be allowed 10 minutes to complete. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes have it.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I sat in traffic for almost an hour just trying to get to Pira, so I understand the frustration of my constituents. Some of our drivers are breaking the line and driving dangerously to get to where they're going. Let me first apologize for the inconvenience the motorists are facing as a result of all the works being done, and ask that the operators that are operating vehicles proceed with caution and obey the instructions of the flagged persons and that are posted warning signs. China Harbor Engineering Company is working aggressively to advance the progress of the works and have given me the commitment to have that section completed prior to the Christmas holiday, if weather allows. Madam Speaker, the flooding in Port Morant Square has been consistently on the news, even before my tenure as Member of Parliament. The former Member of Parliament's office is right there in the square where it floods. Even crocodiles have gone up to that front door during a flood. I remember it flooding in Port Morant when I was a little girl and when Gillette was a little girl. So, Madam Speaker, the parish of St. Thomas is prone to flooding, especially during tropical storms and heavy rainfalls. Several flood damages assessments have been done. So when I see the opposition on TV acting like this is a new and trying to score political points, I have to shake my head. Madam Speaker, let us not forget that it is their government that kept St. Thomas in the dark for almost 28 years. It is this Andrew Holness-led government that brought the light. It is this Andrew Holness government that led government that cares for the people of St. Thomas, bringing the South Coast Highway, which aims to enhance the alignment and capacity of the existing Southern Coast roads. In my first presentation, The Audacity to Shine, I asked the government to consider building a wall right there in front of Fish Cove because of climate change and erosion of our land. And it's this government that is currently building that wall right now to keep the ocean from taking over the land right there at Leith Hall. It is this government that is widening the roadway from single-lane to dual-lane traffic with a Jersey barrier addressing major flooding and drainage issues. It is this government that is introducing Sparks program and the REACH program. And after all this time, it is this Andrew Holness-led government in collaboration with NWA and China Harbor who will finally fix the flooding problem in Port Morant Square. Madam Speaker, we're not a chaka-chaka government. We don't just build on a hill and then wonder how the road and the water and electricity is going to get to that building. We are a government of order, and we plan and then we build. That is why they call our Prime Minister the builder. We have a record of achievements, and the residents of St. Thomas Eastern have my word that the flooding at Port Morant Square will be fixed by this government as well. The NWA is currently in negotiation to acquire the land that will build the well-needed drainage system to take the flood water to the sea and solve the flooding problem in Port Morant once and for all. I say to the residents of St. Thomas, we are better off today than we were 4 years ago because you voted for change. We now have a government that understands how to balance the budget and has grown the Jamaican economy for 10 consecutive quarters. This is why we can speak about repairing and building roads. They couldn't talk about that before. Madam Speaker, because historically, when we have fallen into economic decline, it is this Jamaica Labour Party government that changes their course and puts us back on top. We are the party of positive change. So don't let your light go out in St. Thomas. Hold on to your victory. Madam Speaker, a well-developed transportation system is vital for the town's economic growth, social well-being, environmental sustainability, safety, and security. I am proud to announce that the Jamaica Urban Transit Company began operating in St. Thomas last Monday with 2 bus routes leaving from Yallis Bay and Morant Bay, respectively. I was excited to be on the first bus ride from Morant Bay to Kingston. I want to personally thank the member from West Portland and the Minister of Transportation for remembering St. Thomas. I know he traveled on the bus to St. Thomas this morning. You see, Madam Speaker, in September 2020, the people of St. Thomas Eastern chose change. Almost 28 years of the other party and nothing to show for it. Today, the people of St. Thomas can ride comfortably in a first-class, air-conditioned luxury bus on a brand-new highway named after our national hero, the Right Honorable Paul Bogle. And you can get to Kingston from Morant Bay in less than an hour. In the first week alone, 2,089 passengers were lifted, Madam Speaker. Not even Montego Bay have a JUTC that come to Kingston from there. We in the East feel special. The Jamaica Labour Party was a positive change we needed all along, and we're not going back. Madam Speaker, the journey ahead is exciting. The government has a record of achievements when they over there have a record of, you know what over there have a record of. We are the positive change that Jamaica needed, and we have a record of achievements, especially in St. Thomas over the last 4 years, to prove it. Right. Madam Speaker, let me close by reminding us, elected in this chamber, that we are the light that shines bright in the darkness. We are the beacon of hope, guiding our nation towards a brighter tomorrow. Yes. When we tear down each other and shine a negative light on each other, we dim the brightness of our nation. As a brand new member of Parliament in 2020, just a few weeks old, a baby in Parliament, while learning to navigate my job, the leader of the opposition drove all the way to my constituency before the highway was complete to demonize me and to dim my light. And yes, I took it personally. And I say to the opposition, through you, Madam Speaker, as you drag our Prime Minister's name through the mud internationally, can we choose Jamaica? Let us choose Jamaica. Let's choose to shine and to inspire and to uplift each other. Let us choose a future that is brighter than our past. Together, we will build a Jamaica where every child can thrive, where every community can prosper, and where every citizen can live with dignity. Right. Madam Speaker, through you, I say to St. Thomas and to Jamaica, we are shining even brighter than we were 4 years ago. Right. Do not let your light go out. Third term, we say. I pray for love, light, and blessings on St. Thomas Eastern and Jamaica, land we love. Thank you, Madam Speaker.